No way! You're RUB Figs! Can I get a picture?
Sure, bro.
You've got the most underrated channel in New Zealand, bro.
Damn right we do. You take care now. Freaking fans. You can't ever get a break. We are off to see some people get their face punched. I'm sure, as you know by the title, we've got an inside person who is supposedly leading us backstage. I don't know what the deal is. I honestly don't know. I was told to wear all black to blend in with backstage people or whatever. This is something I probably wouldn't have told you. We went to this event a year ago. They had a media section on their page where you could fill in if you wanted to do like media coverage there. I actually filled in the form. Obviously that didn't turn out, but a year later we've got an inside person. I think it's apparent enough on our channel. The excitement of the unknown is what we thrive for here. And I do not know, oh, well, I do know there'll be a lot of faces getting punched tonight. Other than that, I have no idea what's in store. Yeah, anxiously excited, and I can't figure out if it's just the fact that we're filming again or if it's because we're here. The more and more we seem to film, the more I realise, love it, and it gets me anxiously excited. Screw what other people say. Find the thing you love to do and chase that thing down. Nothing makes me happier than this. That's the truth. This is me to you. The anxiously excited thing, I find when I get in this state, I am out of control. I act before I think, and I see that as good because it's genuine. It's being me, not having to think before you say something, before you do something. All I can say is chase that thing that gets you excited at the thought of doing. So this is it for me. Screw doing something for the rest of your life that makes you miserable or doesn't give you any thrill. See you in something. Not sure how well you can hear me. Caught up with our inside person. Backstage, not looking promising at this stage. Fantastic news. We have free reign to roam around and film whatever we want.
Alright, fight fans, welcome to King in the Ring Middleweights. Proudly boxed with my high. Who's it gonna bring the killer? Jagger O'Horn.
How cool. This is the third one of these we've been to. I'm glad I can finally share some of this experience with you lot, or those of you not in New Zealand who may not know. This is New Zealand's top kickboxers in the country. This is the premier event. That's more like it, that's backstage, right? Does that count? People clickbait on a lot less than this.
Round one.
The closer we get, the more I expect someone to pull me away. Again, probably just instincts from the way out.
I want to plant seeds in the people that plant seeds to me and inspire me. So, yeah, I give back to those who give it so much to me. That's all. Welcome back.
Are you sure? Ladies and gentlemen, Israel Adesanya. I would have loved to have heard him sing happy birthday, mate. You nearly got him. Lovely to hear from Israel Adesanya.
Hell yeah. I'm starting to like this free roaming stuff. being up there close and personal, these people really wailing at each other. My goodness. It never fails to amaze and jaw drop. Words cannot describe it. Unreal.
Mike, your first 2 appearances here at King of the Ring, you got
Good effort. Good effort.
in the quarters. Both
Takes a lot of guts to get in here tonight, so let's give it up for these 2 warriors.
You know, we've all got our passions. Being in and around and amongst so many rabid Kiwis who are passionate about the art of kickboxing. It's truly amazing to be surrounded by. And you don't even have to be a kickboxing fan to be amazed by the action. Burnt out all 3 of my batteries, switched to the phone, and doesn't look very legit when you're ringside with the phone, so I've been biffed. Only got 1 more, so we got a good chunk of it. I'll still try sneak up. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Get kicked out again? I'll try my best. I'll try my best for you. Those lights are actually super hot. I don't know how these fighters do it under this heat. Beautiful shot, beautiful. Full of charisma. I'm gonna be that guy that's concerned about the other guy's well-being. He is barely moving. He's still down. He is. Oh, they got him up. They got him up.
He's up, ladies and gentlemen.
The crowd just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter as the night went on. Probably peaked by Izzy, not gonna lie, but far out. That knockout, I've not seen a knockout like that in person before. It looks like we've got some beef with a UFC fighter. I'll fill you in with that in a bit. I've been checking my shoulder all night. Beef with a UFC fighter? That's creeping me out a bit. That'll do. Talking at the start about surprises, maybe it shouldn't have come as a surprise that a bunch of UFC fighters were there, because it is, as I mentioned, the top kickboxing event in New Zealand and the gateway in a lot of cases to the UFC. I'm pretty sure Dan Hooker, KITR France and Izzy all came through King in the Ring at some point, but what I didn't realise until maybe halfway into the show, there was a 4th. That's not the first time I've held up the wrong numbers either. We'll do it like that. 4. There were 4 UFC fighters there. Kai, Dan, Izzy, and Brad Riddell. Which came as quite the surprise. And I think Brad himself realized how surprised I was that he was right there. Now, flicking through my footage, I was really hoping that I had something to accompany this story. The beef story. And as soon as I got to this part of the footage, I knew it was the part that I was hoping I'd captured. I think for only a split second you can see that Brad Riddell was there. He was sitting in the front row on the opposite side to where I was situated for most of the night. But with the whole free roaming thing, gotta make the most of it. So I'm walking around the ring, I think it's either in between rounds or in between fights. That part of the memory is foggy. But also, watching the footage back, I can understand why I may have rubbed him the wrong way. Wandering around ringside looking for a good spot to get some shots for the next round or the next fight or whatever, when I see about 2 meters away from me as I'm walking past, 2 meters away to my left, I see him and who I think was his partner at the end of their row. I briefly made eye contact with him, realizing who he was, but understanding he's there as a fan, and I wanted to respect that. So I kept going on my way, and without even thinking, I genuinely was not thinking. I situated myself right behind him. To the side a little bit, but basically filming over his shoulder, kind of. Well, filming over his girlfriend's shoulder, I think. Why? It's not until I'm explaining it now that I realise how silly I was. But at the time, I don't think I've done anything wrong. So at first, it's his partner. I didn't get a clear shot of them because I genuinely was trying to film the ring. I'd zoomed all the way, pretty good zoom on this camera, right? So I'd zoomed past them into the ring to film the round. Or whatever. So you can't see what I'm about to explain, but I hope the footage I do have is enough proof that what I'm saying is legit. So I start filming kind of to the side over their shoulders, and then his partner, well, I think it's his partner, she was wearing pink, started looking over his shoulder at me kind of in a disgusted way, and she did this multiple times very close together. You can see her mumbling to Brad Riddell, the UFC fighter. Cannot hear what she's mumbling, but then all of a sudden, Brad Riddell, UFC fighter, turns and looks at me in disgust. At me! It's only then that it kind of clicks in my head. Why? They are so disgusted at me. I can't explain anymore without showing you the footage I did get. So here, I'm walking along the side of the ring. I tended to try to make sure the camera was pointed at me whenever I wasn't focused on the ring, just in case I had something to say. Spirit of the moment, you never know. If you're a YouTuber, you'll understand. But for the sake of this story, probably best case scenario. So there I am walking. Yeah, I'm doing the whole chin scratching thing, thinking, where am I gonna situate myself for the next round? And then, yeah, there. You can't see my actual eyes, you can see my head turn, and it's there where I lock eyes with Brad Riddell for a split second. I had no idea how bad this looked on my part. I'm trying to remember. When you think you might have a problem with a UFC fighter, nothing else matters. So the rest of the details are blurry. I must have already figured out where I was going to film for the next round right before locking eyes with Brad Riddell. But this footage makes it look like I see Brad Riddell, which makes me want to go towards him. That's what it looks like on the footage. Yeah. So there's the head turn, and then you can see my body change direction and move towards him. That's honestly not what I was trying to do. But that's what it looks like. Maybe there's some whole pros and cons to what I was saying at the start of the video about being so excited you don't even have to think about what you do and say. When you don't think, is what it is. There's nothing we can do to change what happened. Seeing the footage now makes me understand. I totally get it. To Brad Riddell and or his girlfriend's perspective, I spot Brad Riddell and then I walk towards him, sit behind them with a camera. To them, who knows what I'm doing? The UFC fighter, celebrity, he's probably used to this kind of thing happening, or at least someone in his position would have to be aware of these things potentially happening. And it all clicked to me when he made the turn with that look on his face. I wish I had it on footage. When he looked at me in the way he did, he only had to look once. I was out of there. And from that point on, stayed pretty much on the other side of the arena for the rest of the night. While I'm relieved I have some footage to prove that this actually happened, I'm sorry that I don't have more, but that's that. Of course, I almost forgot. Going through the footage, I realized I didn't. That was the first starter for the whole video. That's gotta be a new record for me. Smash the like button down below for that. I realized I didn't explain the situation with the inside person and the backstage situation. Yes, basically our inside person also happened to be one of the organizers of the event. That's all I'll say. We could only get in with the rest of the public when the doors finally opened. And then by the time the doors opened, I think it was only like 30 minutes to showtime or whatever. Meet up with our inside person. They have their hands literally full. Don't know if you know, but King in the Ring tournament, the winner gets a 10 grand contract. Pretty sure they had that under their arms, a bunch of other things rushing around. I could see in their face they wanted to show me around backstage, but by that time, just too much on their plate. Our fingers crossed, by not trying to push our luck too much, we definitely did stretch it. By not pushing our luck too much, hopefully in the future there could be a time where we get that sort of access to one of these shows. Until next time, big dogs, subscribe and leave a comment for me, please. This looks creepy. Bye.